Because God's Spirit lives in you, the world without temptation isn't a dream. Going home, it's your next step.
At my uncle's Masonic memorial, I saw symbols that mixed Egyptian myth and Christianity. It reminded me of Shane Willard's story of his visit to Egypt. Throughout history's many languages, people have always been trying to describe one thing: the light God placed inside us. About 10 years ago, teacher Shane Willard told a story from his visit to Egypt. He saw an ancient tomb carving from around 2200 BC, centuries before Abraham. The inscription showed a cross over a man's head. Shane asked the Egyptian historian about it. "Am I seeing this right? Is that a cross above his head?" "Yes," the historian said. "But this is 2200 BC, before the Bible, before Passover, before Rome. There were no crosses yet." The man agreed. Then Shane asked, "So what was he saying?" The historian replied, "By putting the cross above his head, this man was declaring that his thoughts and ways were submitted to a higher authority." He paused, then added, "It's bigger than that. Because it's the first symbol in his writing, everything he says afterward flows from that decision: feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, restoring dignity to the broken, honoring his father." Shane asked, "Where would he have gotten that idea?" The historian looked at him and said, "Are you a Christian? You know that verse about God writing his ways on people's hearts?" Shane said yes. The man smiled and said, "Maybe he meant it." Later, my Uncle John pulled a bottle of whiskey from the trunk of his car and said, "Some people would call this a sin." I asked him all the questions. "Are you controlled by it? Do you hide it? Does it separate you from God or people?" He said no to every one. Then I asked myself the same questions, and my answers were yes. So I told him, "Uncle John, maybe it's not a sin for you, but it is for me." My mother said the same thing years earlier about cigarettes. She'd look at me and say, "How can you be a slave to a weed?" It wasn't about tobacco, it was about bondage. God's conviction is personal, and so is revelation. Who we are is because of who we belong to. That's why one person may feel free, while another knows they're being held captive by the same thing. The real question is not, have they heard, but have they listened? The symbols, rituals, and philosophies of man only prove what God already said. The truth was never far from us, it's been within us all along.